Celebrating 60 years of covering the Inland Northwest. Your official home of the 2012 Summer Games. This is KHQ Local News Today. Right now on KHQ, breaking news.
At 6 o'clock, we continue to follow breaking news. Extremely icy conditions in places as well as dense fog, and that could mean a very tricky commute. Already this morning, a one-car rollover.
That's right. You're looking at a map of the area that we're talking about, Government Way in Houston between SFCC and Aubrey L. White Parkway, and that's where Blake Jensen is live. Blake?
Sean, Shelley, that's right. Good morning. This accident happened just after 5 o'clock this morning. So as of right now, it's been about an hour. And up until about 15 minutes ago, there were two people trapped inside of this car for about 45 minutes. At that point, one female passenger and one male driver. The female passenger at this point was able to get out of the backside of the car safely. I'm just told by Spokane County Sheriff's deputies she does not have serious injuries. I'm told she just kind of bumped her head and she will be fine, doesn't even need to be transported to the hospital. But there is still the male driver trapped inside the car right now. What you're looking at is firefighters trying to get into the vehicle. I'm told by Spokane County Sheriff's deputies that the driver did have some sort of disability. They weren't able to elaborate with me on what that was, but it was making it more difficult for them to get him out of the car. I just watched them use some sort of saw to remove the passenger side door, and now they're really trying to get up underneath the car at this point to try to pull him out. But again, one man still trapped inside this car. It's been about an hour now since the initial wreck, and when I first arrived, their emergency crews weren't even here yet. It is so icy out here on this hill that it's causing lots of problems for drivers. Even emergency crews getting here were having trouble with the road. So definitely be careful this morning on your commute. Reporting live in Northwest Spokane, Blake Jensen, KHQ Local News Today.
Well, this picture tells the story. This is exactly what we're talking about. Look how dense that fog is getting in downtown Spokane. That's just moisture in the air with all the rain we've had, and with the temperatures being where they are, that is sticking to the ground. We're right around the freezing mark. It's not everywhere, but if you get any fog in your area, if you're going over any bridge, that gets a lot of icing. So especially out in Windermere, we've heard that there's a lot of ice out there. So there's fog, and it's going to continue to grow as we go through this morning. I'll tell you more about your 6-day forecast. That's coming up in a few minutes, guys.
All right, thanks very much. And also just receiving word from Officer Teresa Fuller on Twitter. There is another vehicle issue, a crash at Sullivan and Marietta. We'll keep you posted on that situation over the next 60 minutes or so. Well, today the National Transportation Safety Board will talk about the many distractions drivers face behind the wheel. The NTSB will hold a public forum in Washington, D.C. that will look at the serious safety risks that compete with a driver's attention. Forum panels will consider the latest findings of distracted driver research, examine the various distracted driver laws, and talk about the differences of how states across the country have adopted various restrictions. Northwest headlines this morning. Right now, prisons across the state are reaching capacity and then some. According to the Department of Corrections, the recent closures of 3 prisons in Washington, along with a spike in incoming inmates, have prisons bursting at the seams. Every week, 150 inmates arrive at the Washington Correction Center for processing. Then they get a permanent home in the state prison system. At the Shelton prison, William Rivers, an inmate, tells the Tri-City Herald that it's too much to have a third person squeezed into a 6 by 9 foot space.
President Obama is joining with other world leaders today at the final day of the nuclear summit. Nearly 60 leaders in Seoul pausing to take their places at the family photo. The goal of this 2-day meeting was to find ways to keep terrorists from detonating atomic weapons. President Obama, along with the leaders of South Korea and China, issuing strong warnings today about the threat of nuclear terrorism. Also today, President Obama is responding to a mic mishap that he had at the summit. Apparently on Monday, the president made comments to Russian President Dmitry Medvedev when he thought his microphone was actually off. The mic was on as the president said he would have more flexibility to deal with arms control issues after the November 6th election. Today, the president was asked about those comments.
First of all, are the mics on? Look, what I said yesterday, Ben, is I think something that everybody in this room understands.
The president goes on to say that arms control is extraordinarily complex and it takes a strong basis of understanding between countries to accomplish anything.
At 6:04, and we have new video for you this morning out of New Mexico, where state police have now officially released dash camera video. Look at this, of a chase of a stolen school bus that happened earlier this month, and you can see the speeds that they were driving there, very fast. A stolen school bus barreling out of control down I-40 toward Albuquerque. State police had just seconds to figure out what was going on and had serious concerns during this chase. Investigators say the driver, 27-year-old Nathaniel Shipman, stole the bus from the bus yard in Albuquerque, drove it to Grants, about 80 miles west of town, and when he was spotted there, turned back towards Albuquerque. Shipman was eventually pulled over and subdued. It was after 6:30 and the city was in the morning rush hour. State police had to act fast.
Also nationally this morning, tensions continue to rise in the wake of the death of Trayvon Martin, the 17-year-old who was shot and killed by a Neighborhood Watch volunteer a month ago in Florida. Rallies of support were held across the country yesterday, and Martin's parents are continuing their calls for justice after meeting with Sanford City commissioners for the first time.
We're not asking for an eye for an eye, we're asking for justice. Arrest needs to be made for George Michael Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman, the man who fired that fatal shot, is in hiding this morning, but lawyers and friends of Zimmerman say that Martin initiated the confrontation and that he attacked Zimmerman before he was shot. Martin's parents will travel to Washington, D.C. later today to participate in a congressional forum on hate crimes and protest as they continue their search for justice.
Right now, your weather in the 6s.
Well, welcome to just another wet day in the inland Northwest. It's Tuesday, March 27th, and yesterday we set a record in Spokane with 0.62 of an inch of rain. That's over half an inch, and we're on our way to what looks like it's going to be the wettest March on record in Spokane. This will add to it. Look at this moisture in the air out here. That's caused by mainly all that rain that we've had, that moisture in the air turning into fog early in the morning. You can hardly see parts of downtown. Most of it's by the river, but it's starting to pop up elsewhere. 31 degrees, so that means we're around the freezing mark. That just adds to the problem. Out up around Wandermere, we've had reports all morning about ice on the road and thick and dense fog. You can see some of those headlights as they start to come in. The fog usually really starts building over the next hour or two under normal conditions. So this is up at Snoqualmie Pass, light snow falling. If you're driving through the passes, you're going to run into some accumulation of snow. Along the east slopes of the Cascades, you could get several inches of snow this morning before it changes over to rain as we go through the afternoon. It's going to be a while before it gets here in Spokane, probably not until this afternoon. It's going to start raining again. The computer tells us as of 10 o'clock, you can see here we are at noon and it's really right close to us, and just afternoon, that's when we start to have some rain in this area. Now, you guys down in the southern Palouse, both in Idaho and in Washington State, you had the heaviest of the rain yesterday. You still got flood warnings in effect this morning for small streams and creeks. Today, it looks like most of the rain, guys, is going to fall in the northern panhandle, the heaviest of the rain.
Right now on KHQ, breaking news.
We are following two different breaking news stories. The first one right now out of Colorado. As you can see, sunrise already taking place, and this is what officials are hoping will help them as the winds hopefully are going to calm down as they continue to fight this wildfire. Yeah, sunrise there in Colorado. You are looking at live pictures and you can see what is left of some of the homes in that area. Basically just a crater and a burned ash and smoke arising from that location. Can tell you that single-digit humidity values, winds blowing at 40 to 50 miles per hour, lack of snowfall during the past month put most of eastern Colorado under a red flag warning for high fire danger on Monday, according to the National Weather Service. This particular fire, about 4.5 square miles, leaving one person dead so far. 900 homes in the foothills have been evacuated about 25 miles west of Denver, and they tell us 90 people spent the night at a local hospital, or a local high school rather, because of this fire.
Right now on KHQ, breaking news. And we are following breaking news here locally. Back to live pictures for you. It is slick out there, black ice and fog to greet you this morning.
That's right. This is a single car crash rollover at Government Way and Houston. Blake Jensen and photographer Don Clausen are there live for us this morning. And Blake tells us there was a male driver who is still trapped inside this vehicle at this time. His injuries unknown. The female passenger was able to actually get out of the vehicle. She is there at the site and we understand is uninjured.
Blake is in conversation conversation with authorities this morning. When he gets new information, we will go back to him live at that location. But a lot of slick spots in North Spokane County, specifically very, very dangerous. Give yourself plenty of extra time. Make sure you arrive safely.
And unfortunately, it's not just the black ice we're seeing, but fog in many locations is just absolutely unbearable to get through.
And what was so unusual is you'll go and it'll be clear visibility, and all of a sudden you turn a corner and it's just thick patch of fog there.
Be careful.
All right, well, we're talking about apps right now. An 8-year-old Landon Crabtree is ready for the CSI team.
That's right. The Tennessee boy used the tracking app on his stolen iPad to lead deputies to the crook. Here's a picture of Landon.
Way
what
to
a
go,
doll.
Landon. The Tennessean reported earlier this month someone broke into the Crabtrees' home. Thieves took 2 Apple tablet computers along with other items.
Now, prior to the ripoff, Landon had downloaded the tracking app. He followed the iPad on another computer and directed deputies to a motel.
Half-hour later, John Doherty was under arrest. Investigators add that the pint-sized detective helped crack burglaries in 2 different counties.
Wow.
So you think when the thief logged onto the iPad, it said, "You're busted."
I can hear Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich right now giving Landon a call saying, "I want you to work for me."
Honorary badge for Landon.
That's a great story, isn't it?
All right, 10 past 6. It is Tuesday, but for some reason it feels like Thursday to me.
Does it feel like Thursday?
Yeah.
We're just going to bypass Wednesday. How does that sound for you?
Yeah, right in the middle of the week. Not going to do that.
It's okay.